It's Fender Friday! Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. David thought we needed more Fenders on the show, so he knew Guitar Day, not one, but two Fenders with us. Starting off with last year's kind of controversial / celebrated model, the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster in Surf Green. These were a reissuing of the early 2000s Tom DeLonge Strats that had become a little bit rare or at least expensive on the used market. But for 2023, they brought them back in a graffiti yellow, the surf green, black, and a straight up Daphne blue. Now when I think about Tom DeLonge, I usually gravitate towards his Gibson ES333. Because I'm a Gibson guy, and that's a very unique semi-hollow from them. But one look at this Stratocaster, and you're going to notice this is not like a regular Stratocaster either. He's a little bit out in left field as far as the specs that he likes to have on his guitars. So first off, you're going to notice you don't have single coils. You actually just have a single Duncan Invader humbucker. It's a hardtail. You don't have all the fiddly controls, it's just a single volume. In fact, I'm surprised we still have the output jack on the front and it's not thrown onto the side or something. But then you also have that pearloid pickguard to give these things their distinctive look. But these are made in Mexico, just like his original run. And brand new, they're just a penny under $1,300. And they ship out straight with a gig bag. Although, to be fair, it's one of their nicer padded ones. So keeping all that in mind, $1,300 seems relatively affordable, but yet kind of expensive for what you're getting on this, being pretty bare bones. But you have to remember, you're getting the Fender branding, you're also getting Tom's name. If you're not familiar with Tom, he's part of Blink-182, Angels and Airwaves. So you've got punk rock vibes with this, and that's exactly what it's built to do. I mean, as far as Strats go, this one just feels right at home. I love the fact that it's a hardtail. They don't do enough of those. I don't need no pesky trem systems on my guitars. It's even a string through body. That makes it fun. So kind of like a Telly. And just in case you didn't notice, we also have that kind of late 60s, 70s large headstock style. There have been a few reviews that have had some quality issues on these guitars as far as string alignment and stuff. So far, out of the box, this one seems okay. But to learn more about this one, let's go ahead and throw it on the workbench, take a look at all the small things, and then get to a playing sample. Okay, let's take a peek under the hood. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised if for some reason you wanted to modify this. We've got the HSH routing. So if you're a fan of Tom and you like the way he spec'd it, but you need more tonal opportunities, you can put whatever pickups in here you want. And looking at the edges of the routes, you can see the alder body. It seems to be multi-pieced at the very minimum. As far as the quality of the routes, they look pretty good. Just a little bit of fuzzies. So here's our pickup branding as the SH8B, so that marks it as the Invader. But I was curious if this would have coil splitting. In stock, it does not. But that's what these two wires are. If you wanted to put a mini toggle switch, just route it through your pick guard or get a different one if you don't want to modify your stock one. Then you could have a coil split option or put a push-pull pot right here. But I read on the site that it had the treble bleed, so as you turn it down, you won't lose your highs, and that's what that little printed circuit board on the top is right there. And here's our barcode for this particular pickguard. Then your output jack, it's just pretty basic stuff, and looks about the same as the other routes. And the pickguard is multi-layered, so you have the pearloid on top, then a middle black layer, and then the back is white. And the knob is one of those metal knurled style, but you can change that by removing this screw. I was almost thinking maybe they had the S1 switch to have the coil split tones, because it nearly looked like you had a button right there, but Tom must not need those tones. And the Invader's kind of a weird pickup with those hex pole pieces. As far as the fit and finish, I mean, it's just your regular poly, so everything is looking good here. Then our Strat bridge has the block style saddles, one for each string. Moving on from our alder body, we've got a maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. That's right, Fender Mexico has swapped back into the rosewood fretboards for a lot of their higher end options, which I'm very thankful for. The Pal Faro hasn't been too bad in recent years, but having the traditional rosewood spec is just so much nicer. Even if it is just for romantic reasons. You know, that's what they used in the 50s, that's what they should be using now, and it's a slab board. The only thing I would say about this is it was extremely dry when I got it. There's like this white powdery substance on it. Now, after a full conditioning, it definitely looks a lot better. So if you happen to buy one of these, definitely get yourself some Dunlop 65 or whatever fretboard conditioning material that you prefer, and you're gonna have a night and day difference. With your standard 9.5 inch radius and typical 25.5 inch scale, with a nut measuring 1.64 inches, increasing to 2.03, and the C-shaped neck is 0.86 at the first fret neck depth, and while pretty thin, pretty much 0.9 by the 12th. Here's a look at that neck at the first fret and the 12th fret, nice and rounded C-shape, especially in the chording area. So definitely not huge by any means, but not overly thin either. And I was happy to see this, the fact that we have the vintage poke it down, wrap it around style tuners. Although, does anybody else feel that the Fender logo looks weird, like this is a knockoff or something? Something about the bold black outlining around it as compared to the very pale maple neck, because this is not a tinted lacquer or anything like a lot of times you'll see. Just gives it kind of a weird vibe. However, you quickly get used to it. And you've got your one string tree, and your truss rod is located in there, capped off with plastic. Moving on to the backside, not too much to talk about here. No trem cover, because again, no tremolo, just a nice string through ferrule design with a strap button here and at the top of our horn. And you still have your comfort cut and all that. It's not a blocky Strat or anything. And then our signature Tom DeLonge alien guy holding his letters of his name neck plate. Looks like our neck pocket's okay as far as cracks go. Same on the other side. And I'd say the alignment's alright on this particular example. Now, one thing to take note of, this is a satin finish, but this is like one of those really high quality satins, not like the cheap nasty jobs. So it's not a high polished glossy feel like this, which is good for a player. However, if you're not expecting that at first, it can kind of feel kind of chalky. But if you were to take some polish and like just go to town on this, it would buff up a little bit, but you would also get rid of that kind of chalky feel to it. But since this is a viewer's guitar, I don't know if they want me to do that process, so we'll just leave it as is and let them decide. But our serial number dates it to 2023, production number 138513. And here's a look at our vintage Kluson style tuners. And what's the weight again? 7 pounds 9 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds. Yeah, it does the chuggy and rocky stuff very well. Now let's do some cleans. I like how round sounding it is. But if we roll it down, let's see what happens. It sounds like a Strat again. Let's try that again with distortion though. So there we go, my take on the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster. Better late than never. Honestly, I'm surprised how good this was. I always thought it kind of looked cheap by the photos, and after some of the other reviews, I was a little turned off and just felt like most people were disappointed, but I had a great time with this example. Maybe I just happened to get a good one, but that pickup sounds ferociously raunchy, and it's just great for so many different things. So if you're kind of looking for a hard rocker Strat and you like Blink-182 and Tom DeLonge stuff, I would suggest checking it out. But then again, I'm also the guy that usually has like 2K plus guitars, so $1,300 for a signature guitar doesn't seem that bad in my eyes, based on what I'm used to shopping for. So I had a great time with this. Maybe you would too. Feel free to check one out at a store now that they're not instantly sold out everywhere and there's not so much pressure to buy. If I needed a player Stratocaster, I would 100% consider one of these. And what's great is even if you get bored of this after some time, as we saw underneath here, you can always modify it. You don't have to route the guitar out. Just save your original pick guard if you're worried about future resale value. So it's got options, and I was plenty happy just messing with the one volume to get other tones out of it too. So alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed and you got some new guitar knowledge, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day, and you might even enjoy this next one.